Have you ever said or heard your friends say, you know, I'd love to use a charcoal grill. It just takes too long. Got to buy charcoal and put it in a charcoal chimney and get that lit and let it ash over. It just takes too long. You know, I think of two things when I hear that. First, if you're grilling out and you're worried about how long it's going to take, you might be grilling out for the wrong reasons. And two, I can probably take a steak, throw it in a frying pan and put it on my stove and be done faster than you can on your gas grill. So don't give me this takes too long stuff. Guys, what it boils down to is people are unsure of how to use charcoal, and I get it. There's no class in high school that teaches you how to use charcoal, right? Well, in this video, I want to share with you the top 5 things you need to know about charcoal grilling so you can have success tonight and be eating the very best food you ever grilled in your backyard. Let's go. The first thing you gotta know about charcoal grilling is you gotta get a good quality charcoal. Now, the one I like the most is B&B brands. You can see here. It's got briquette as well as lump charcoal, and I think it does a great job. What I like about it is that it burns really smooth, very easily, it lights very easily, it burns consistent, even temperatures, and it's super, super easy to use. It's got a great flavor with it. This is hickory and oak that's built into the briquettes. Love this stuff. I've burned thousands of bags of B&B. Now, ironically, on a Facebook post the other day, I saw someone complaining about B&B. So it really depends on your experience with it. Like I said, I've never had a problem with it at all. Love the stuff, but whatever you choose, whichever brand you choose, make sure it's a good quality charcoal that you can depend on and you get used to, you know how it's gonna do. But get a good quality charcoal is step number 1. All right, folks, number 2 is let your charcoal ash over completely before you pour it into the grill. You're gonna use a charcoal chimney and some kind of starter, whether it be this tumbleweed or a Weber cube, something like this will be perfect to get it started. So you can put that down in your grill, you're gonna light it, put your charcoal chimney full of charcoal over top of it, and let it completely ash over before you pour them into your grill. Once they're ashed over, pour them in there and put your grate on then, put the lid on and let it sit for a couple, 3 minutes. What this will do is it'll allow your grate to get a little warmer and easier to scrape off the previous cook's remaining stuff. Makes it very simple and very easy to clean that way. Plus it gets your grill preheated, gets you ready to go when you go to put your meat onto the grill. So that's step number 2, which is very important. Let your charcoal ash over completely. All right, guys, here comes the snow, so we gotta go a little bit fast here. Now listen, number 3 is gonna be to create 2-zone cooking. And I did this in a previous video, so I'm gonna just show you that clip. Does a very good job of explaining what 2-zone cooking is and how it works. Let's watch this clip and we'll come back. What I see people do often, they'll take their lit charcoal and they'll pour it in their kettle, spread these out, and they're thinking, I'm gonna get some good even heat here. I'm gonna get this heat all distributed evenly. So when I put my grill on, my grate on, I can utilize my entire grate. So I can get more burgers on there, more steaks, whatever the case may be. But then the problem is, whatever they're cooking is gonna drip grease and fat and cause massive flare-ups from the charcoal. And the problem is you lose control. You limit your control, basically, of what you can do with your rubber kettle. But the way to prevent that whole thing, so the solution to this whole problem is don't do your charcoal like this. Do your charcoal all to one side and create what they call 2-zone cooking, where you have a hot side and a cooler side. Not cold, obviously it's still warm, still hot in here, but not like it would be over the charcoals. So when you have your grate in and you're cooking over here, you can just slide stuff over here if you got flare-ups. If you got it over the charcoal and it's too hot and you got burgers going, just slide them over here. Or rotate your whole grate. Your grate slide around so you can have it different areas. It makes it so much easier to control the flare-ups and the flame-ups and the massive searing you'll get at times. Now, of course, you want searing when you're doing steaks or burgers, even you can sear them off when you're done. That way I can kind of finesse my meat. If I need to get a little hotter, I can slide closer to the charcoal if I need to, or get it further away. But this way, 2-zone cooking really gives you a lot more control over what's going on inside your grill. All right, guys, you saw how important 2-zone cooking is. Now let's talk about step number 4, which is vent control and temperature control. Now, when you're smoking meat, it's a little more complex. You got to manipulate the vents a lot more. When you're grilling meat, it's not nearly as complex. You're gonna leave them open to start with the lid on. Now, as it goes on, you may want to end up closing about halfway, which gets you a temperature of about 300 degrees in that range. But if you want to go hotter, leave the vents open a little bit more. You can also crack the lid if you need to get higher heat when it's time to sear. But as a rule, leave them open at least half or even 3/4 of the way, but leave your lid on completely the entire time. Again, guys, we're not smoking meat, we're just grilling meat, so we're not nearly as worried about how the temperature control happens with vents. All right, guys, now that we have the temperature inside the grill controlled, let's talk about how to know when the meat is done. Now, whether you're cooking burgers or steak or chicken, you're gonna want to invest in a digital meat thermometer so you'll know what the internal temperature is. Take steaks, for example. If you want a medium rare steak at about 125, which you'll know by this, you want to take your steak and slide it over to the hot side and sear it off, right? If you're doing a reverse sear especially. And that'll take your temperature up to the 135, 132, 135 range, which is medium rare, right? That way you'll know how it's done. Now, in an effort to help you guys know what temperatures are proper,
In the description below, I have a link to my website that'll let you put your email address in, and I'll send you a free temperature guide, no charge at all. And that way you'll have a guide for beef, chicken, pork, or vegetables, seafood, all sorts of different things. It's a great little guide, so be sure and get on there. All right, guys, that wraps up our video today on the top 5 things you need to know about charcoal grilling so you can have success tonight and be eating the very best food you can have in your backyard. Or better do it inside today, of course. But nonetheless, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you got some value out of it. I certainly hope you will hit the like button and subscribe to our channel. We greatly appreciate that. Until next time, guys, I'll meet you at the smoker.